Right. Okay. Um, so I hear people are checking in, and let's check in. First, talk about you as a person. Bring us up to date with who you are, what you're doing, you as a person, and then you can move into you as a student in the course leaders training program.
Okay.
I have on a blue sweater and my glasses.
Okay.
So you guys self-select.
So I'll start. This is Dickie. How I am as a person, scale to 1 to 10. I'm feeling great. I feel like a 10. A lot of things are happening in my life in regards to the project and business, and ideas are opening up, and I'm getting really anchored around what I want to be contributing to the world. Also, my son in Wyoming, his name is Dakota. He's been going through some relationship challenges and looking at substance challenges that he's had, substance abuse challenges. And with that, I've invited him to come out to San Jose. And for the past 3 weeks, it has been an off and on, I'm coming. Okay, no, wait, something came up. I'm not coming. There's been a little back and forth with that. And it's been really great to be patient and to be non-judgmental and to be supportive of him and his choices, and not try to smother him. So that's been really great on that. In regards to a student, in the course leader program, my project I've been moving forward with, and new ideas and new possibilities, and things are moving forward there. One of the breakdowns I've been having is that I haven't been managing my, I would say, I didn't have my coaching call. I've been really distracted by some other things, and also as a student, just the restoring integrity. That's really important to me on the to get back, because these last few weeks have been, I don't know, I feel that they haven't been focused for me. I haven't been focused in doing that. I've been kind of shooting from the hip with going where it feels, and I know it's all part of the process, but that's where I'm kind of at as a student.
Thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Are you done, Dickie?
Hey.
Yes, I'm complete.
Okay, I'll go. Yeah, so as a person, I'm a 10. Always look forward to these sessions and being with y'all. Feeling good, rested, and ready. My teaching assignment ended in the middle of October, and I have not picked up. I subbed for 2 days in between, but mostly I've been focusing on, we had a huge event at our house on a week ago Friday, and we did a lot of fixer-up projects, including things like repaving our driveway, which is like a big project. So I've been focusing on getting back in integrity with myself, and I think we lost Claudette.
Claudette's still here.
Claudette's still there?
I'm
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been focusing on and getting back in integrity with myself, with my commitments to my husband, with just like cleaning up clutter, which just feels so good because I don't like to live that way. You know, and I never really did take the time when we move in to actually finish unpacking. So I'm doing that, and that feels good. As a student, I think I'm caught up. I had my coaching call with Katie last night, and it was short and sweet. The person I'm supporting in her breakthrough project, she's on fire and very committed, and my project's moving forward, so I think I'm okay. I guess I'll find out more today.
That's great. Good job.
I'll go next.
Great.
So I am doing great. I am a 10 plus today. Finally starting to feel like myself again after, as Ade says, I wasn't sick, I was stressed. So with just, a lot of different physical ailments after 2.5 weeks. So today is probably the first day I'm feeling like myself again. Have been on fire at work. A lot going on. Been in union negotiations, brought a new member on staff, dealt with going out to one of our locations and doing a full-on systems review, resources systems review. So I have been working quite a bit. So I didn't really stop for all of about 1 day. And it has been extremely busy, but a lot of accomplishments, and I'm excited about finally this first week. I'm like, whew, Thursday was the first day I could just take a deep breath. We had a major project that was due to the city. Got that off to them. So lots of accomplishments on that end. Spending time with my family, spending time resting. And I've told people I can't do something just so I can rest. So that has been a positive thing. In regards to my projects and as being a student, my project person is doing great, is in the final stages of getting a job with the city of San Jose in a position that he wants to do, working with kids. So I'm very excited about that. And also for my, had my coaching call with Katie last night. And so I'm working on my project as well. So doing great.
I see your blue sweater, Claudette.
Okay, thank you. So you can see me.
Yep.
Can you hear? I'm going to put my phone on mute so to see if you can hear me on the computer.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to turn off my. I turned off my phone.
Okay. Yes, we can see and I can see and hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's great report, Veronica Victoria. Okay, and then it's my Bonnie who went over the ocean.
Hi, Claudette.
Hi.
So things are really busy. I guess I'm about an 8. Things are really, really busy on the work front. So, I work for Walmart. It's a major retailer. Prepare for the holidays is pretty crazy. So, but there's also some opportunity there. So, I've been kind of owed a promotion. Like I've been doing the work and I haven't gotten promoted. And I kind of had, in some ways, given up on it because a lot of times at big companies, they're not necessarily fair. And I was considering eventually moving on and looking at options. But I had a meeting, I've had a couple meetings with my former boss who was amazing at Walmart. And he really encouraged me to fight for it. And he actually also told me why it would work. Because I don't always fully understand how things work. So he said, promotions are not always given to who does the most, whoever screams the loudest, hey, you should promote me. So even though other people have been pushing on my behalf, I haven't been pushing because I've been like, well, if they're not going to listen to them, why would they listen to me? So he changed my mindset. And I do think I could get a promotion, which would be really huge, both on the financial as well as career-wise. Even if I decide to leave at some point, it still will help me because I'll be able to basically prove something and negotiate something. However, I need to do the work to provide all the data to back it up. Like, this is the work I've done, not just lately, but in the past 2.5 years, and document it because there hasn't been visibility, and present it to leadership. So I have that, as well as holiday preparations going, a lot of requests coming in for work for me to do right before the holidays. So it's really prioritization and focus and, you know, endurance, and it's going to be a tough couple weeks. And I still am committed also to coming to New York. In terms of CCLT, my breakthrough project, I'm a little concerned I'm going to go overtime. And the reason is if I shift focus to this work thing, which could actually be an even bigger deal, but one that I had kind of given up on, I just can't do everything at once. So that might push my breakthrough project. I have made some progress, but I think it's going to take past December to really complete. In terms of coaching someone else on a breakthrough project, that's going really well, and they're hitting all of their targets right now. It's like a self-expression project where they were really shy and anxious and not wanting to put themselves out there, and now they're basically putting something out there, like a live streaming thing twice a week, without alcohol, without like, because at first they would try to work around, and then they do it like late at night when no one else is on, so it's lower stress. So they're actually doing really well on their project. So yeah, it's just a lot going on. I do plan to come to New York later in this week, right? In a week. So I have to book my flight still. But that's an opportunity I don't want to miss. And I feel like in some ways, even though I'm really busy with work, sometimes it helps to be just in a community where there's leadership and power and communication, because it will help me be more centered when I come back to work. So I think it's actually going to be good, even though it's another thing to do, but it's going to be something that will put me in the right mindset, because when I go into that meeting, you know, with the directors, it's going to be all about my mindset and the data. And it's a lot of work for me to do, but I'm up to it. So yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Dickie, there's some squeaking. Can you hear that?
I can. I think it's from Bonnie to your computer. I don't know if it's your computer or Bonnie. I've muted myself and some other people and muted your computer, but I don't hear the squeaking now.
No, I don't hear it now.
I heard it also, but now I don't hear it.
Okay. I'm gonna go. So I'll check in, and then I'll go back to what I heard.
Yes. Can you see us clearly, or we are in the dark?
I can see you clearly. If you tilted the camera a little more towards you, a day, but you're right on the edge of the. There you go, right there. You're both in view now.
Okay, and we're not in the dark?
I can see you.
No, yeah, I can see you okay.
Screen down a little more though, so we can see you. We're seeing lovely frames on the wall, pictures.
How's that? Okay.
Good.
Good.
Yep, works. So Claudette, you were checking in.
Okay, I'm checking in as a person. Let's see. Oh my God, domains in my life. I'm having fun being a grandmother to my 16-month-old grandson, watching the development of a male energy and what that looks like. So I'm looking at that. You know, October was a big fundraising month for me. I had 2 major events, 1 week apart. The culinary event where we flew that event was, that's our major event. It's a $500 plate event. And some of the people, we had it at the Culinary Institute, and some of the guests made portions of the meal. And then later we had a sit down dinner, And we brought Dejana in to give her the year later's accomplishment award. Given she's a chef and we were doing a culinary event, we thought it was appropriate to acknowledge Dejana. And then the following week, I had an event called Make It Rain. And everything you think about Make It Rain, that's the kind of event it was. I'm doing really well. My diet has changed. Once again, I'm off carbohydrates and sugar. And this is the first time in my life I'm not doing it to lose weight. My feet started swelling after I put carbohydrates back into my meal and potato chips. After I put that back, my feet started swelling. In relationship, every time I noticed I ate something, I noticed my feet would swell. So this is the first time I'm not handling my weight, I'm handling my health. Let's see what else about me. My relationship with Ade is on a new level, deeper communication, where the Hoffman, the QOP process is very present for me, with patterns. So that work is present. And I'm excited because in December, I studied with the arts, and there's going to be a free weekend in December. And I have over 20-something women who are either flying in or walking in to this phenomenal work that I've been studying and where I lead my own courses. So I'm doing well. As a student, or as a person, an administrator, a facilitator in this program, how am I doing? I think I took it personally when Dickie didn't call for his coaching call after sending texts. But then I got over it really quickly. Me. I'm still satisfied with the work that we're doing, and what I've been listening to the tapes. So I'm interested in changing my voice to see how it will sound on the videos. So I would like to change my voice. So that's how I'm doing. I'm crazy. Thanks. And you, Ade, how are you?
In the wake of your wave, I'm doing very well. I have on a black sweater. It didn't seem to make any difference to them. I got on a black sweater, so what, right? I got on a black, the blue sweater is what makes the difference. God. Let's see.
I see your black sweater, Ade.
You look nice today.
You both look good.
Looking like a classic man.
It's not as nice as Claudette's blue sweater. Sorry.
Somebody who's honest. Thank you very much, buddy. You know what warms me is that you all are speaking from having some movement in your lives. And that's great. Victoria, I'm happy that the stress is less. I am so happy for you that has occurred. And to be in on it with you, to be in it with Patty and Bonnie and Dickie and Tavo is just, it's worth breathing for, it's lovely. To think that these distinctions have that kind of power. It's the question I was looking at last night as I participated in with the registration event, a pre-course event. And there was one young lady who was there from the course last year, and she brought her boyfriend. But this young lady had an attitude that was just, I don't want to have any, that, you know, that kind of attitude, leave me alone, I don't need you. But it had a few pejoratives that went with it, you know, leave me alone, motherfucker, I don't have nothing to do with your hands, like, so like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she showed up last night like a transformed human being, just bubbly and wonderful. And it was, I just kept looking at her like, oh my God, look at this transformation with this woman. So I'm great. Given that, I know life is an inside out thing. However, when the results on the outside show up and they look so delicious, it just, it makes it all worth it. I think that's what I'm saying. It just makes it worth it. It makes this work. It gives this work value and legs to stand on. So, and all of that, I'm doing great. And I don't have a distinction one or the other. I'm doing great all the way around. The grandson is fabulous. I love to do baby talk with him. So there's no words. I don't have to make any distinctions. I can just go, and he understands and gives it back. Like, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Thank you for asking.
Thanks. So I think I want to talk first to Patty, and I'm clear about Patty. I'm not clear about Dickie yet. But Patty, you said that the person you're coaching is doing well, and then you said that you were not Patty. I'm sorry, Bonnie. That the person was doing well, but you were not on track with your project. What does so I see a couple of things, and I'm gonna stop, and then have us all do the creed, the bold statement, before we continue. You guys ready for that, or did you do it already?
Yeah.
No, I am.
Do it.
Okay, so let's do it now. Ready, go.
We
Hold
Transformation
transformation as a possibility
At
at
any
any time,
any
any place,
with
and with anyone.
We bridge the
Being
gap.
generous,
we bridge the
we
gap.
bridge the gap between insurmountable odds
and what
what is possible,
Allowing
allowing ourselves and others
the
to
opportunity
live lives
of
of
dignity
dignity, integrity, and aliveness.
and aliveness.
So there's the piece in there that we, you've heard me say this again, that we stress, allowing ourselves and others. And the most important piece in that sentence for me was ourselves. Because as sometimes healers or transformers or medical people or teachers, we want to do for others and not ourselves. So I'm not quite sure with Dickie because I didn't hear it.
Can you speak louder, Claudette?
Okay, so I said I'm not quite sure where Dickie is, but I'm particularly talking to Bonnie, and I think Dickie, because they said the people they were coaching were on track, but they weren't on track with their own project. So I would like to know how could that be so? Let's speculate about what gives that result.
So I can answer that. I mean, part of it is, you know, what is my project in the first place, and how did I get to have this project in the first place, which is that I really want to clean my house, you know, and how it came to be messy was basically that I wasn't creating enough time for myself. Like, I was busy doing a lot of goals that benefited other people. In some ways I was related as well, like as a group, as a team, my work, giving priority to those things, but then not taking as good care of myself. And this is even clear in my house, because I'll keep the areas of my house really clean, which I share with my roommate, and I don't want him to get upset, but then the area that's just my own, it gets deprioritized. So I know that's a thing with me. And I'm working on it, so it's not that I haven't made like any progress, but I think also as I'm starting to work on that, I'm also realizing where in other parts of my life that has happened. So for example, at work, like, I deserve a promotion. I really do. Like, I've been responsible for Walmart making a lot of money, and other people on my team, 2 other people, where we worked about the same amount and we accomplished about the same amount, they were promoted and I was not. And I have some ideas why, but the thing is, I didn't really fight it. I kind of got like withdrawn and like, well, I know it's not fair, but life's not fair.
For a moment.
Yeah.
We're going too far away. What does the person that you're coaching, what is that person demonstrating, or what does that person have? I don't, you know, I'm not trying to give you an answer or have you look at something, but what's the difference between the two of you?
I'm looking. Well, I mean, this might not be the answer, but I do feel like they have a goal to focus on. And yeah, they have other things in their life, but they're really focused on one goal. And with me, I feel like I'm kind of juggling a lot of goals. And
so are you saying when that person wakes up in the morning and for the number of hours that that person is in the world, they were only focusing on this one goal?
no, I'm sure they have other ones, but like, this is like their main thing. I feel like I have more responsibilities, or more, maybe more obligations, or and maybe I'm overcommitted. Maybe you know, okay, so one thing that made a difference for me a couple times was having a coach. Oh, go ahead.
Use the distinctions. See, when you don't use the distinctions, you'll get into story.
I guess like they have momentum, and I'm still in the previous stage where it takes a lot of effort to get one result. And I haven't quite reached that momentum.
So, Dickie, you also said something similar about your project missing coaching calls and blah blah blah. But I don't remember if you spoke to.
No, I didn't speak about my coachee. My coachee is on track with their project. And
So y'all are similar. So what is your coachee demonstrating or being, or what has that person moved and you not? You know, these questions is not about make one, because eventually you're going to meet yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you coach yourself? what are those people what's your coachee demonstrating? Use the distinctions.
Being coachable.
Okay, that's the main thing.
Yeah, what I see is that because we had our coaching calls, that if they were stuck or if they were in anything, that there was a space for them to intervene. And that's because I didn't have my coaching call, I didn't have that same opportunity. I feel my project's on track. I feel there's a little clarity to be brought. And because I wasn't being coachable and didn't have a coaching call, I didn't get the opportunity to do that, whereas my coachee did.
Have you been speaking with Kevin?
No.
So you haven't put yourself in a situation to be supported.
Correct.
So what is your, in addition to being coachable, what are you demonstrating, or what else are they demonstrating?
Nothing's coming to mind.
Using the distinctions.
Oh, what came to mind is player. That they're in a they're in a player mindset. They're on the court. They might be. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We'll talk a little bit. Okay. I see what distinctions we didn't do yet that we can't get there. So I might as well begin to finish this conversation. Bonnie, Patty, and Vicki, do you see anything else?
Yes. One thing that I definitely see, and actually Dickie just said it just a minute ago, is the strong wing, weak wing. And Dickie's strong wing is being very independent, supporting other people, being a source for people. And the weak wing may be not asking for help or not having the need to need support from anybody.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. It's not asking. It's like that's not even a question. Do I need support? Do I need help? That doesn't come up. Okay, that's great. So weak wing, strong wing. Anything else, Vicki?
I had it just a minute ago and I just lost it. So I'll let Patty speak and then.
I guess I saw that also, Bonnie, when you were sharing about, a tendency to put other people before yourself is definitely a strong wing I see with you. And that your project is really about your relationship with yourself. And it's easy, I think, sometimes with things that could be mundane on their surface. When you shared your vision of that project with me, I really got that it was about honoring yourself. It's not really about having your environment in any certain way. So I would say that looking at what's getting in the way of you and your project is there's a strong. It appears to me there's a strong wing at play there.
Also, one thing that did come up is also 9 dots is being outside of the possibility and being so accustomed to the way that we normally carry ourselves every day and looking outside of that possibility would be the other area.
You mean outside the
outside the boundaries.
Boundary.
Yeah.
into possibility.
Yes.
Sade, I'm going to say something right now. I know you and I haven't discussed it. But Bonnie, put Bonnie on the screen.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. In support of your player, I'm speaking for Ade, even though he doesn't know what I'm getting ready to say. We revoke our acceptance of you to come into New York.
Okay.
And that you should use that time to prepare for the data for your job and working on your project.
That's fine.
Okay. Inside of the commitment to you, I think that's a healthy decision. Are you in line with that, Ade?
Yes.
Okay, great. Great.
Did somebody ring a bell just now or something?
I heard something.
I think it's my computer, sorry.
Okay, great. Okay, do you want to say something?
Well, 3 days you're going to be here, Bonnie, dedicated to this work. It would be great to know that you spent 3 days with yourself rather than you just stayed there and used it for whatever came forward, whatever came up, rather than what Claudette's speaking to. Because when you're home, all kinds of things show up when you're home. Different from being at camp when you're dedicated to and focused on serving others.
I think what you're saying is what the 3 days that she will be there and not here, use it to forward her projects and her life.
Yeah. I heard you say that, but what would make the difference, I guess, Bonnie, that you would actually take this on, not like a commitment to have it happen? What would have to be in place for that?
Well, so one of the things that's present for me right now is the situation at work. In some ways, it's actually more important than my breakthrough project right now. It's going to make a bigger difference. It is a breakthrough project in itself. It's one that I had given up on, which is now showing up as possible and also urgent. Like, I need to take action on this, like, this week, start.
Bonnie.
Yeah.
So let's start the class now.
Yeah.
Continue. So when the two people come, so we're back at the basketball game where we were last month. Mm-hmm. And there are two teams that come in. What are those teams called?
The home team and the opposing team or away team?
Okay, the home team and the away team. Do you know what the metaphor home team and away team, what that metaphorizes? Why we particularly use home and away?
Well, I understand player versus opponents.
No, I'm talking about home and away.
Home and away, no, I don't.
Anyone know?
I'll take a guess. For me, the image of home team is like, inside myself, it's home where I live, and then away is like outside me, or
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And you're at home with your possibilities, your hopes, your desires, and you're home in your heart.
Hmm.
And when you're away, you've moved away from your visions, your possibilities, your heart, your love. You can see that. So
Mhm.
that's why we use home and away,
Mhm.
because that's the point. Are you moving away from when you're so then go back to Bonnie. So Bonnie, these two teams are then the what?
Say that again.
These two teams, when they on the court, they are, what are they called? The home team is the what in our metaphor,
Players,
and the other one is
the opponents.
okay. Now, we're not speaking about basketball. So in your life, so I'll do the script. So in your life, and what's the purpose of the game?
To
To
win.
win.
Yeah, that's the purpose of, and the player wants to win, and the opponent wants to win. And sometimes the opponent wins, and sometimes the player loses. But the purpose of the game is to win, and you win by, how do you win in the basketball game?
You
Score the most points.
score points and prevent
Well,
the
how do you win? How do you score the points?
scoring more points than the other team by hitting more baskets in the hoop.
Put the ball in the hoop.
By doing what?
Putting more baskets in, making more baskets.
Okay, whoever.
By defeating the opponent.
Huh?
By defeating the opponent.
No, it's that the cat on the mat is
The point.
More points.
how many balls went in, what Bonnie said. How many balls went into the basket and at what distance?
Mm-hmm.
The further away, you get more points than in the how close you are. So Bonnie's correct. The cat on the mat. You win when more points get more balls go into the basket. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be changing my voice. I crack myself up sometimes. Okay, so the purpose is to win, and the cat on the mat is balls in the basket. Now, in the basketball team, maybe I dare and Dickie, maybe you'll know more. Let's say that I'm on my home team and my basket's over here and the opponent basket is over here. If I'm this team and this is my basket and I throw a ball in my opponent basket, does anyone score? This is a question, I don't know. Who scores?
The basket counts for the other team.
The basket counts for the other team. You make that up, or that's what's up?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not even an end. Sometimes it's the game is who gets which basket gets filled the most.
Most baskets.
Most baskets. Okay, so you can even make a mistake and start having and throw the ball in the wrong place, and the opponent wins.
Right.
In that moment, are you the player or are you the opponent? What team are you on in that moment?
The opponent.
Absolutely. So you can't ever be a player and an opponent at the same time. You just have to be one or the other. So, now, we're not talking about basketball. We're really not talking about basketball. We're talking about your life here. And so let's take real life. In your life, I'm talking to you, Bonnie. In your life, Can anyone play? Can anybody score in your life?
Besides me, no.
How come you say that?
Well, I'm actually now confused because actually, yeah, you just said that the opponent can score in your basket and you can score in the opponent's basket. So I guess maybe, I mean, but that doesn't usually happen. Like,
So in your life, do you sometimes think be a teenager with me? Do you think, who do you think determines if you're winning or losing?
so like on a deep level, I know I'm causing the matter, but sometimes I feel like it's circumstances, other people, people I work with, yeah, my boss, yeah.
Yeah, but so I don't want the deep level.
Yeah. On the surface, it feels like this is my boss's fault, right? Or something like that. You know, she's so disorganized. She's making chaos on the whole team. And, you know, but then also I know I'm not, I need to.
So sometimes you'll say the boss, you want to say something? Oh, you want me to change my voice? Okay. So sometimes you're saying the teachers, is your teacher's fault or your boss's fault or your parents' fault or your relationship fault that you're not winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that. So give me an example of something one of those people would do and you won't win.
So like I'll have things scheduled, like I'm gonna work 9 to 5, I'm gonna focus, I'm gonna get my job done, then I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna clean my house and I'm gonna work on my own projects and my health and things like that, and then I'm super tired and she'll call me at like 11 o'clock at night and say she wants something done immediately, and then I'll be on the phone till 1 a.m. or something, and then I'll be expected to join a call at like 9 a.m. the next day.
So who said yes? Who said yes, I would do it?
I did.
So in that moment, who scored?
The opponent.
No, did you score or did she score? Who said yes?
I did.
So then who's responsible for whatever happens after yes?
I am.
Okay, so give me another, Patty, give me another show me another way that somebody could have you lose.
Another way that somebody could have me lose?
Yeah. Like you're a kid, a teenager.
A teenager?
Yeah, you're a teenager.
Okay, I'm a teenager. I don't know. Maybe I have a goal of doing my homework and someone gets me to go drink with them after school or something.
That's great. So who went, who said yes, who went, and who picked up the bottle?
So I'm a teenager, I did that, yes.
So even if you were a grown woman, you did that?
Yeah, I did that. Well, yeah.
So who scored? Did you make that basket? Who made the basket?
So I guess it would be the friend that and sort of enrolled me in that idea, right?
So let's say we had a basketball game.
Okay.
And, there are people who are saying boo, boo, and trying to get you to mess up. Does the person shooting the ball go, okay, I'm not gonna shoot the ball anymore. I'm gonna shoot it, I'm gonna just throw it away. Does that happen?
I guess so. I
No,
mean,
that's-
people, for sure people get, I gotta believe that athletes get triggered by things like that, and they, yeah, I don't know, I watch much sports, but I'm inclined to believe that happens.
When they get triggered and they miss the basket, who missed the basket?
The player,
Okay, is it possible that they made the basket?
yes,
And then if they made the basket, who made the basket?
the player.
Okay, so can the other team come and take the ball from that guy or girl and say, I'm doing this for you?
Can the other team take the ball away from the player and say, I'm doing this for you?
Yeah, I'm doing this for you.
Doesn't make much sense.
No, that doesn't happen.
Doesn't,
That doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
So when you went with your friends,
Mm-hmm.
whose feet were moving?
Mine.
Okay.
The players. Well, mine.
Okay. So when you got drunk, whose head was spinning?
Mine.
Okay. When you got sick, who was throwing up?
Me.
Okay. So then who's taking all the action?
I am.
Okay. Even though there are other people there, can they determine how your life is going to go?
No. They can influence it, but only if I choose it. Only if I go along with their
But if
invitations.
if you go along with what they're asking, who's going along with it?
I am.
So who's making the decision?
I am.
So, because there's sometimes, you're not easily influenced. Sometimes your mom said, Patty, clean your room.
Mm-hmm.
And she give you a whole lot of reasons why you should, and that doesn't influence you too much to get up and run and clean your room, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the teachers say, Patty, you're a really good student. If you put a little bit more effort in, you'll be able to be on the honor roll. Blah, 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 blah. Give you a lot of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that, so it's not
Right.
people influencing you.
Yeah.
Who makes all the decisions in your life?
I do.
So that means you make the decision to get drunk?
Right. So as I look at it, there's something else I wanted out of getting drunk.
No, we're not there. I just want to know who made the decision for you to get drunk?
I did.
And who made this decision for you not to get drunk?
I did.
And who made the decision for you to do your homework?
I did.
And who made the decision not to do your homework?
I did.
Okay, so I'm not talking about basketball.
Right.
I'm talking about basketball. So if we're talking about yourself, you're the player in your life. The purpose, who is the opponent? Vicky. Who's the opponent? And don't be so smart. Don't be so smart, Vicky.
Victoria.
Oh, are you talking to me? Oh, sorry. I heard.
Monica Victoria.
Oh, I heard Dickie. Sorry.
I'm saying Dickie.
Okay, that's why I have to say Veronica Victoria. Okay. Don't be so smart. Be teenager. So who's the opponent? Veronica Victoria.
Hold on. She's Okay, go ahead, Vicky. Go ahead.
Who is the opponent in my life?
In the game called Veronica's Victoria's Life, who is the opponent?
The opponent. You don't want me to smart. You don't want me to sound smart. Okay. The opponent is everything else that's happening outside.
Okay. Can anything that's happening outside or in your basket?
You don't want me to sound smart. Okay. Say it again.
You said everything outside is the opponent. Yes?
Yes.
Outside of what?
Outside of my life, or in my life.
So give me an example so I can follow you.
Actually, I'm trying to. I mean, I know the answer, but I'm giving you the opposite. So I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for. Is that correct?
Okay.
Am I understanding that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So me and my girls, we're not putting up with crap from anybody. So we go out, you know, my goal is to not fight, but somebody takes me on and dude, I can't keep my anger back. I just want to hit somebody.
I got that. So what you said was really important. You said, I just have to hit somebody. So who's causing you to hit?
The girl that's calling me names, that's mugging me.
Has there ever been a time somebody called you a name and you didn't hit?
Yeah.
Okay. So then who determines if you hit or not?
I do.
Okay. Really great. So if you can see, then you determine whether you hit or not, whether you do your homework or not, whether you get high or not, and sometimes you determine hit and sometimes you determine not hit.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, when you're trying to decide, where are you making this decision? Like how do you come up with the decision whether I'm going to hit or not?
In my head.
Yeah. Yeah. So you ever heard of the Civil War?
Yeah.
What was the Civil War?
It was a civil war was in our own country that we had the Confederates against the civil army.
And so it was like one country and go like
It was one country and two groups of the same country fighting each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like there's one of you, Monica Victoria, and in your head there's these two things: hit her, don't hit her; hit her, don't hit her; hit her. Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
So in the game,
But I just want to go on the hitter side. I don't want to think about the other side.
yeah, but sometimes you think of the other side, but it goes back and forth in your head. And then somebody has to, like in basketball, you just can't keep passing the ball around. Sometimes you got to shoot it. And sometimes you shoot and don't hit her. And sometimes you shoot it and hit her. Is that how it goes?
I guess.
Okay, I've been working with teenagers long enough to know I guess means yes. So is that how it goes? You have to give me a yes or no here.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's great. So, Dickie. No, back to Bonnie. Bonnie. So in your life, where is the player and where is the opponent?
On the court? I'm not sure exactly what you mean.
Just follow what Vicky just said. The last thing she said.
Inside me, inside my head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in your life, you're playing against whom?
Myself.
How come?
How come? Because that's how the human mind works. I mean,
Patty, how come?
How come we're playing? How come? What are you asking? Is the question how come the player is playing the opponent inside ourselves?
Yeah.
And am I giving a teenage answer?
Yeah, you could stay where you are because it doesn't matter at this point.
Because sometimes I do things that I don't want.
You don't want to do?
Yeah.
Such as?
Well, sometimes I do things that I want to do and then I don't want the outcome. I want it in the moment, but then I don't want it later.
Such as?
Oh, like,
if you notice, I keep asking for cat on the mat.
Okay, so such as, going out with my friends and drinking, it's really fun. And then the next day I feel like shit and my mom's mad at me. And so that's the part I don't like.
So is it want or you choose to do things?
Is it what?
The point is, who made the choice?
I made the choice.
Period.
Period.
Period. That's all we're at. You made the choice.
Yep.
And so sometimes you make the choice to drink and sometimes you make the choice not to.
Yes.
And you make the choice. So is there anybody, so who's scoring? The home team or the away team, the player team? Who is that in your life?
So when I'm drinking with my friends, I feel like I'm scoring at that moment, but then later I feel like I didn't score.
You did score.
I feel like I didn't. Like in the moment I felt like I scored, and then later I feel like I didn't.
You did score. You may not like what you scored, but did you score?
Yeah.
Did the player score? Or the opponent score?
In the end, the opponent scored.
Okay. But you scored.
Yep.
Who's the opponent?
I guess it's me.
Okay, so I've been working with teenagers long enough that I know when they say I guess, it means yes. So are you saying you're the opponent?
Yes.
And then who's the player?
It's me.
Okay. So can you see that in your life, you are both your player and your opponent?
Yes.
You can see that.
Yes.
And that's how come there's no such thing as peer pressure. There's a lot of people pressuring a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But who chooses to go or not?
I do.
Right. So you could, So you're clear in this moment. Every single thing you do in your life, you do it.
Yes.
So you're both the player and the opponent.
Yes.
And the purpose of the game is?
To win.
So who wants to win? The player or the opponent?
The player.
Can the player win the game? So what, does the opponent want to lose?
No. The opponent wants to win too.
So can you see the purpose of the game is to win?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm not saying that life is funny, ha ha ha. I'm not saying games mean ha ha ha. You know, there's war games and those are horrible things. They're crime games. And, you know, it's just where something is winning and something is losing. So we say that life is a game. Like, it's a game and you can win that life or you can lose that life.
Mm-hmm.
So you're always winning. If you're the player and the opponent, you are always winning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the name of the game is to feel good or whatever your project is, what did you say you wanted to get out of the program, Bonnie?
Say that again?
What did you say you wanted to get out of your project?
What do I want to get out of my project?
The one with cleaning your house. What you said was your project was, what did you say your project was?
Yeah, basically cleaning my house. Yeah.
Right. So that when you have a clean house, that means you would have won. It means you would have won that project.
It means I would have what?
You would have won at the game called Cleaning Your Apartment.
Right.
Right. And if you don't, that means you would have lost at the game of cleaning your apartment.
Okay.
I mean, can you see that, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, great. So every actions that you take to clean your apartment, would that be the player moving forward to have your project on track?
Yes.
And every time you don't take an action, is that the opponent winning at making sure you lose?
At that game, yes.
Yeah, that's the only thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, given that both you'll win. You can't lose.
Yeah.
You'll always win because you're playing the game.
Yes.
So when you're moving forward, we call that winning at winning.
Yeah.
And when you aren't moving your project forward, you're hanging out with the opponent. And we call that winning at losing. At the end, you'll still win because there's only one of you. But the question is, what will you win at the end?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're winning at winning, you feel a particular way. How are some of the ways when you're winning at winning? What are some of the ways you feel when you're winning at winning?
Happy, peaceful, accomplished, good, happy.
Bonnie, take a look at winning your personal project. How would you feel?
Happy.
That's why Are you, where's the turn on about having a space that represents you? I don't feel any turn on.
No, because things have changed, and I feel like there's a much bigger problem right now. If I just push myself, yes, I can take actions, right? But if I just push myself to clean one box and stay up all night and then I'm exhausted the next day, that's not going to leave me feeling good. In some ways, it's a regression.
About that, because you've been saying that for several months. I've heard that for several months. How long does it take to clean out one box?
Like a couple hours.
Okay. So how long does it take to clean out half a box?
Maybe an hour.
How long does it take to take 4 things out of a box?
$20 minutes.
So you could see that taking stuff out of the box has nothing to do with time.
No, I can't see that. I can't see that. So I feel like
you have 20 minutes.
I feel like this is a bigger problem and I need to get out of this job.
Do you have 20 minutes?
Sometimes no. Sometimes really no.
Do you have 20 minutes in a week?
20 minutes in a week, yes. And at that rate, this is not going to be done by December 15th. But, hours in a week, no.
But if you do nothing between now and December 15th, so here's the thing. In this moment, who's winning here? Are you winning at winning or winning at losing?
Winning at losing.
Okay, is that what you're committed to?
No.
Okay. Are you coachable?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're coachable, you would have to become, you are demonstrating perfectly what we spoke about this morning. Being uncomfortable. You are like pissed off. And to take 20 minutes, you'll be uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable even without taking 20 minutes.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with your project.
It has to do with something that's getting in the way of my project as well as getting in the way of my health.
No, what's getting in the way of your project is you keep putting things in front of your project. Every time you get a project, you'll put something else in front of a project. This isn't new. This isn't new.
So what I really need is to get rid of the thing that's in front of my project. It's not about...
When you take that on, you're going to put something in front of that.
This is what I was speaking to, Bonnie, when I said you could be there for 3 days, not come to New York, and be there for 3 days and still be off, not get your projects done. Those 2 things that are on your plate.
Yeah, because if they know I'm home, they're going to call me. And I'm going to be working.
Bonnie?
Yeah.
You have 20 minutes.
Yes, I can get 20 minutes.
Yeah. So if you did 20 minutes, would you be winning at winning or winning at losing?
I've been doing 20 minutes. I mean, it's not like I haven't been taking any actions. I have. But the amount of time I have for this is not a lot right now.
I remember, Bonnie, we were in a coaching conversation and you recall about time. We were having this conversation about time.
Yeah.
And you remember what you said about time? your strong wing about time is
That there is no time.
that there's never enough time.
You know, they're not called, have they called you since you've been on this phone?
No.
Yeah, so they don't call you all the time. Your opponent is strong. They don't call you all the time. Did they call you yesterday?
Yes.
They called you the day before yesterday? And the day before that?
I don't remember, but probably yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna pick up over the next week, and then the week after. They told me, they asked me if I wanted a hotel room, and I said, why? I live 15 minutes from work. And they said, because you're not gonna sleep.
Oh, so this is just what happens at this stage of the.
Yeah, you're not gonna be safe to drive home. So, you know, it's like, okay, well, you can take an Uber. I mean,
But you should be used to this. You said you've been doing this 2.5 years.
No, I haven't. This is a different team and it's totally dysfunctional and I need to get off. That's why I need to get the promotion, because then I'll have more options to move out.
Okay, but I don't want to go there. I want to stay with your project. So when is the last time you worked on your project?
Last Saturday.
Okay.
Or Sunday, I think. Saturday and Sunday.
And the time, and what did you accomplish that day?
I cleaned out one box.
Okay. And when's the time before that you cleaned out a box?
Like a week earlier or 2 weeks. And I think it was 2 weeks earlier.
Okay.
What are the tears coming from, Bonnie?
Because right now I don't give a fuck about the boxes. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if it's clean. I need sleep. I need, you know, it's like other things are more important right now. And I don't want to work on this because it's not that I don't care about it. I do, but something more urgent has come up.
So Dickie, this is what, when you were speaking, this is what I was experiencing, that you wouldn't be able, that you wouldn't be able to demonstrate that the technology with the story you have. That you don't need support on too many projects or Lone Ranger. That's what it is to be a course leader. You have no idea what going. I'm speaking to Bonnie, but I'm talking to Dickie. You have no idea what taking the 20 minutes a day will make available to you. And I'm asking you, you have no idea what calling your coach on time and having your confidence in your calls, you have no idea what's available to you because you've been doing it the way you've been doing it and ending up here again. And ending up here won't get you what you're looking for.
Well, and what I see is that, so in this example, if I take some actions and I gain I gain movement, gain progress, that there's something that happens. So when I make progress, there's a part of where you said it in the stages that if you relax, like it moves back down in the stage, that I get fulfilled to go, oh, I made progress, I'm good. And then it's like, well, okay, let me go take care of these other things. And then my projects might become less prioritized. And I get satisfied with, I made some progress and it feels good. And then I focus someplace else.
And I'm talking specifically about you when you said that you weren't coachable.
Mm-hmm.
What it is to, I have a, I could be talking to myself on a certain project called like writing my book. And it doesn't matter when the opponent kicks in, it feels real. And our job is not, is one of the things that's different about me as a course leader and a lot of other course leaders that I see lead. My life is in the course room. So I'm not just talking about, here's the distinction. I'm actually pulling from my life the demonstration of what I'm talking about. And I make sure I can't pull from something that's 2 years old. It's like one time I had a breakthrough when I was 40 years old. Now I'm 63. I can't keep using that. One time I was uncomfortable when I was in college. I can't use that. What am I going to use for my life right now or most recent so that the human beingness that I am, and that's what makes me relatable. And if we're not demonstrating in our projects levels of accomplishment and being comfortable and uncomfortable and having another reason I do that, because I want people to know it's not over. It's because I have a breakthrough once. It doesn't mean like now I'm done. I'm expanding until I disappear.
I can't speak for everybody else. I know it's myself and Patty, but definitely what you're saying to Bonnie, so many different parts of life. Relatable, most definitely, in dealing with that opponent. That opponent many times it's really good at convincing you that that's what it is. So I can definitely relate.
What is another word for opponent? Anybody? What's another word for opponent?
Enemy.
Okay, but in life, what would be an opponent? How does the opponent show up? We call you what?
So it's your negative thoughts.
Okay, but not so deep. What does it look like on the surface? Knocking on the door, what would it look like?
Tell us that, then.
It look like your circumstances.
Okay.
The situation you just fell into.
Well, for sure, in my experience, my circumstances, my opponent presents my circumstances as the truth. Like that's how it is. And I know like my project is about having, creating a partnership relationship with my husband. And as I look into what's at the core of it, this is something, a pattern with me, Claudette, you mentioned the Hoffman work. This is a pattern with me that started when I was a teenager, when I made a decision that the way to prove to the world that I had value was if I had a man in my life. And so my whole life has, so much of my life has been oriented around making sure that I have a man in my life, and that I need to do whatever I need to do to make sure that his needs are met. And so no wonder I'm not experiencing partnership, right? So that's an old conversation. So that conversation about, like, I better make sure he's happy is, it just shows, that's my opponent talking, right? Like, it's not about a true partnership. Like, well, I'm not sure I'm articulating this right.
You're articulating. You're doing well.
I mean, just to give you an example, so the other day I was talking to Dave about my project, and we noticed that I noticed that the dates needed to move because of the travel time to get to where we're going for our project is going to conflict with something that is not movable. And so then I suggested some other dates, and he said, well, I don't want to go that weekend because that's like the first good day of duck hunting. And I immediately went into, I like got triggered into this thing about, like, really, duck hunting is more important than me? And I got into this whole passive aggressive thing, and I caught myself in that moment. And I said, oh, wait a minute, I just saw myself getting passive aggressive. So let's talk about what else we could do. And then he said, well, why don't we go Saturday afternoon to Monday? I'm like, oh, it didn't even occur to me that Monday was a possibility. So we looked into Monday. And then it turned out that there were some things that didn't work about Monday. So then he said, what if we go Wednesday to Friday? And so, like, it's just evolving. But I had to let go of having his attachment to something or his desire for something mean something about me.
Oh, yeah.
So I had something that, so the opponent, what I see, how it occurs is that it's everybody else's needs. That everybody else, what I perceive as everybody else's needs, satisfying their needs over satisfying, I will put my needs last to satisfy their needs.
And you're getting ready to create a whole business to satisfy people's needs.
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah. So that I'm just seeing that. Well, and I think that's, like you said, the strong way, but in that it I see that's where, when I see that, whether it be at work, a team that has needs, whether it be Bright Futures that they have needs, that I will set stuff aside to make sure that they're okay, or that something's moving, or that they're, again, it's more of a supportive role, that it is that, but I get left out. Kind of what you're saying with the creed about, well, that it works for everyone, and I go, oh, I keep getting left out because I keep feeding that need and putting the points in that basket of helping them or doing this. And it's, yeah, just for me, it was articulating the needs of others.
How does that feel when you notice you're left out?
Say it again.
How does that feel when you notice that you're left out?
Alone. Alone, disconnected. No, go ahead.
Right over to Bonnie.
Let me just finish this one thing with him.
The same thing.
So
Same question.
you could act, so You get to be right about that, your early childhood experience when I found out I was adopted, blah, 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 alone and disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the lie. You know, if we were in an auditorium right now and there were 1,000 people in the room and you were standing up speaking to me on the mic, and I asked the people, and then I would say for you to sit down, and I would ask the people, if you feel connected to Dickie, stand up. Do you know the majority of that room, and these are people that you've past lives, you know, whether you worked with them or teachers, you know, unlock bright futures, you know these people, so it's not like a bunch of strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, if you feel connected to Dickie, you feel connected to Dickie, stand up. Do you know the room would stand up?
Yes.
Right. So the lie is that whatever that thing is that will have you go to I'm alone, whatever that is. That's a lie. And I think if you could celebrate being a liar, you'll have some fun with it. Like, yeah, I lie all the time. I lie about I don't make a difference. I lie about this. I lie about that. Yeah, I'm a liar. I lie about not being connected. I lie about not being what I'm a liar.
Okay.
I think an example of that was, Dickie, when we did the water story. A perfect example of that is you allowed for Bonnie and I to do ours, and you didn't do yours. You were supporting us and being there with us, but you let us go first. And that's a perfect example of what you're talking about, is putting other people's needs, being there in support. Yes, you did it after, but you were here to support us in doing ours first.
But was that your need, or he was laying that on you? Did you have a need to go first?
Not necessarily, no.
Right, he laid that on you. Then you had the desire for the three of you to do your pieces.
Right.
Right, but you didn't have a need. Go first.
Yeah.
And then what were you going to say to Bonnie?
Bonnie, when Dickie was speaking about being left out and how he feels when he gets, Claudette asked, how does he feel when he gets left out? I wanted to ask that of you. How do you feel when you get left out? Right now, how do you feel being left out?
She's left out.
Look at the promotion. You didn't get promoted. You got left out of the promotions.
It's not even just the promotion. They put me on this bullshit team. It's like I feel betrayed. I feel not betrayed by my team, but betrayed by the management. Yeah, they're fucking me over. They're like, not intentionally, but like they just don't give a fuck. They just don't give a fuck. Like
the idea, Bonnie, you are perfect. You are so in your life. It's really great. The extent in which you are feeling this is great. With an observer, it's great. Without an observer, it's hell. But when you look at leaving yourself out and you look at your project, your personal project, can you see a connection there? Are you leaving yourself out when it comes to your project?
I mean, I think that's how I got in this place, but now it's like something bigger. Now it's like I have to think strategically how to get myself out of this situation, because it's like if you're trying to dig a hole or something and then someone else is just throwing mud in there at the same time, you have to do something about the source of the problem. You know?
But you keep wanting us to talk about something other than the project. And that's the only thing we're going to focus on, because that's what we're in contract with you to focus on right now.
I got that, but you know, like I got that. It's fine, but pushing myself harder to get this project done is not gonna solve, it's not gonna make the biggest difference right now.
Okay, the project wasn't designed to make the biggest difference. The project of decluttering your space, that wasn't an intended result of the project.
Okay, well, given the situation, what are you suggesting I should do?
Regarding what? I suggest you keep taking actions in your project. And when you can't take the action, when you think you can't, hello?
Yeah.
When you think you can't take an action in your project, communicate with your coach so that you can get clear.
The catch-22 that I hear, Bonnie, is that when it comes to being left out, it's not just in one place, it's everywhere. So in order to get, that's the strong wing, is that can you hear, that's the strong wing. Leaving yourself out is the strong wing.
But that's what I'm trying not to do, and you guys keep trying to get me to go clean a box, and I'm saying, look, I got bigger fish to fry. This could make like 20 grand difference. Among other things, I have to deal with this. I have to deal with the fact that I have a manager that wants me available 24/7 and says you can't even sleep with your phone on silent. Like, I have to deal with this. This is in my face.
How long have you been wanting to unclutter your space? How many years is this going on?
Since about 2012.
Okay, so it's a pretty long time. Can you see that every time you move on it, something else becomes, this is even bigger than that. I have to put this away. This is even bigger than that. Something is more bigger than that. This is real here. This is a 5-year delay.
I got that.
Hmm?
Yeah, I got that.
Right. And so even after the Christmas season is going to be over and you start on this project again, then it's going to be something even bigger than that. So it sounds like it's a stupid project of cleaning out boxes.
It's not stupid. It's that
you have no idea what cleaning out the boxes will give you. It will give you, if you haven't been able to accomplish something in 5 years, and then you're able to struggle and go through all of the necessary steps, painful times to accomplish it, what will you be left with?
Good question.
I don't know.
You do know. So that's the opponent don't want to. So.
Yeah, who just spoke? The The player or the opponent?
So I'm going to ask you the question again. This thing has been a thorn in your side for 5 years. Can't even put your car in your garage. Now, when you think, and it's not an easy task for you to do, that's why it's taken over 5 years. When you accomplish this, going through, and it's going to take a lot for you to accomplish this. It's going to take a great deal for you to accomplish this. When you accomplish this, what sense of yourself will you have? Remember, the purpose of the project is the completion of the project doesn't just give you something else. The sense of yourself is altered. So what sense of yourself will be altered completing this project, as hard as it is?
It will be really good if I could do it without sacrificing my health or losing my job. That would be good.
That's great. But when it's done?
When it's done, if I haven't lost my job in order to get it done, then it will feel good. Then I will feel like I'm out of the hole. I will feel like...
No, you're missing a big thing. It's a possibility that you could be left with, if I could deal with that shit, I can deal with some other bigger stuff that I've been putting off.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm present with is I gotta deal with the bigger shit right now. The bigger shit is in my face I gotta deal with right now. So it's Bonnie, like I can't wait to do this so that I can do that.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So Bonnie, your session for right now is for the next 20 minutes. I'd like you to get off of the phone and go clean out something in the box. And come back. Take a baby step. Since nobody's calling you right now. This is, you guys, this is what a commitment to, it looks like she's uncoachable, but she's not. The opponent is all over, so we gotta break this down. I'd like you to get off the phone for 20 minutes and clean out something in a box for 20 minutes and come back. You will be altered.
Okay.
Okay, great. So everybody else, you go take a long pee for 20 minutes. You won't miss anything, Bonnie. We will all be off the phone. If you haven't spoken to your coach, call your coach in 20 minutes. This is okay. This could be a 20 minutes integrity list.
Do something on your own project.
If that needs to be. So let's take a half an hour break. What time is it?
So it's 11 o'clock. It's 10:57 our time, almost 11 o'clock our time.
What's that means to me?
It's
30 minutes.
That means it's 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
It's almost 2 o'clock your time.
Okay, so let's come back at 2:30.
May I speak?
11:30 our time.
May I speak to Claudette and Ade just for like 30 seconds after this?
Sure.
Okay, great.
You want to call us or you want us to stay here?
Oh, we can stay here. That's fine.
Okay, see you guys at 2:30.
2:30.
Awesome.
Okay.
11:30 our time.
Thank you very much. Right.
Just two quick.
Sleep.
I don't know if it'll be beneficial for me to stay on the call.
What did you say?
I don't know that I don't know if it's going to be beneficial for me to stay on the call.
I'm inviting you to ask yourself, would it be useful for you to get off the phone and go to sleep?
I don't think I'll be able to sleep, but it might. It might. I don't know if it's. I don't think it's really helping for me to be on the call. I think it's making me more confused and frustrated. Like, I mean, I appreciate that you're trying to help, but that it's also like adding more stress.
Okay. So the call is recorded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you should go take care of yourself.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Okay. And anytime you think to come back on, you can come back on.
Okay. That's fine.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Can I say one thing before we move on?
Okay.
Claudette, I just want to acknowledge and appreciate the story you shared about the landmark seminar, because I noticed that sometimes I get to where I want to be like complacent, you know, and just go, I handled everything, you know, but like that, what a great reminder that I always have to be in the game and always have to be up to something, and that it could be anything. Like, you didn't sign up for that course saying, I'm going to create a breakthrough. You just were there and saying, this actually isn't working. And instead of quitting, which is probably what I would have done, just like found a reason not to go, you did the opposite. And I'm inspired by that. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't want to. You can't make me. I'm scared.
And a big thing that I've learned within the past couple years or so, and technique that works for me that is outside of what we learn, is it's eventually going to be over. So, I mean, it's not like it's something permanent. So the pain or the frustration is just temporary. So, and what you're able to accomplish is usually more permanent.
In the 12-step rooms, we say, this too shall pass. Whatever it is, it will pass.
Right.
I think just knowing that it's going to pass helps it pass.
I've done that more than once in my life, so especially within the past couple years.
Cool. So, weak wing, not weak wing. So before we did weak wing, strong wing, we do play opponent, winning at winning, winning at losing. So you guys have any questions about that?
I have a question in regards to home team, away team. You distinguish that. Do you delve deep? Do you delve deep into home and away, or is that just a quick? There's a home and away, and then.
Well, I come back to it. What you should know about me is I'm a deep woman. So everything I do, I try to go deep.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's not something that you guys need to do.
Okay.
You don't need to do that conversation. I do that conversation.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah, that was my point. Is that there's so much richness in it. It's like, what do you highlight and bring up? And it's what I get is that it's really just being in the conversation with who you're with, and having that move forward and getting that clear. Because I notice sometimes I will want to take time to fully expand on something, and it's like, well, that's just out of me wanting people to get it, and it's like, well, no, they're where they're at, and I want them to get the conversation with where they're at versus me throwing a lot of stuff out there.
I'm going to say that what you guys do is transformational education. What Ade and I do is spiritual transformational education. And so you guys, I don't think let's just handle the transformation part, and then we can get to the spiritual part if you get there. But there's, I'm clear I'm doing Unlocking Futures and something else. I'm Curriculum for Possibility and something else at the same time. Okay. So then, any questions about winning at losing, player, opponent? Dickie, they will send you a sheet that shows the player, opponent, winning at losing, and then all, several adjectives. That when you're winning, how do you feel? And you get that. That's a call out from the young people. I feel good. I feel bomb, like the bomb diggity, like a bag of chips. For me, it's like I feel thin. Whatever it is. And on the other side is when you're winning at losing, how do you feel? Embarrassed, stupid, awkward. For me, fat. It has nothing to do with my weight. It's just how do I feel when I'm winning at winning. I'm invisible. Like I'm like the same size, but without any weight. I feel a lot of D's: disgusted, discouraged, depressed, drained. So, now here's the thing that I need to let you know. There are only 3 colors, markers you use as a course leader: green, red, and black. You start with the green, they see the green dot. When you're writing home and away team, home is in green, away is in red. When you write winning at winning, winning at losing, winning at winning is in green, winning at losing is in red. Or sometimes you can do black when you do winning at winning and winning at losing. When you do the word player and when you do the word opponent, player is written with a green marker, opponent with red. When you do how do you feel, all the adjectives of winning at winning is green. All the adjectives for winning at losing are written in red. Not blue, not purple, not brown, because you're also doing a visual. You got to remember, I think we said this in session in our first meeting, not everybody learns the same way. So you give people visuals. Once I see something, I got it. Once I read something, I got it. Ade and I was watching a movie that we saw last year, this past week, called Get Out. And I started saying the lines at the last scene. I started saying exactly what he was going to say, what the other person was going to say. And Ade said, how many times you saw this movie? I said, once. And he said, you know the lines? I said, yeah. If I can hear it and I can see it, I got this. So you got to remember that people learn differently. That's how come we just don't speak. We have to write. So there's one more piece for winning that to complete this whole the purpose. The purpose of the game is to win. Win is written in green. Now there's one more piece in, so last time we did, okay, excuse me, I'm going to finish one thing at a time. Last month we did the beginning, the roles in the basketball game. We distinguished player, coach, trainer, and ref. This week, we're doing the metaphor of basketball, which is home, away, player, opponent. And then you don't write this, when we say the purpose of the game is to win, and then we say something like, we're not talking about basketball, we're talking about your life. And so then on the top of the paper, that's when you write life in black. Life is, the purpose of life is, the purpose of the game is to win, and the purpose of life is to win. And then you can win at winning and win at losing. It comes down. So what from the roles in the game, what haven't we talked about as we bring it over to the metaphor of the game? There's one function we haven't touched on yet.
Before we leave winning and losing, can I ask a question about that?
Absolutely.
So I know we say that if you're winning because of how you feel, or how you're winning and losing because of how you feel. But what about and I think I might have the answer to this, but like for example, if someone has a goal to lose weight and they eat a piece of chocolate cake. I mean, that chocolate cake might be really enjoyable, right? Like you could say, well, I'm eating that piece of chocolate cake, I feel great. But then later, or like the example I gave earlier, hanging out with my friends and drinking and partying and stuff, in the moment, like I'm having a good time, right? But then later I feel bad because now my mom's upset with me, or
and when you ate that chocolate cake, you had the goal was to lose weight?
So
was that the goal?
Yes.
So in the context of that as the goal, yeah.
That was the goal. So eating a chocolate cake is nothing. Eating a chocolate cake by itself is not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we're doing is in relationship to a goal.
Right.
And so most people who would be eating a chocolate cake wouldn't be feeling good eating the chocolate cake anyway.
So the how you feel is in the context of a goal then?
That's right. So
okay.
Do you remember this story, Patty? Your goal, somebody has a goal to go to church on Sunday morning. And church starts at 9 o'clock. And the alarm goes off at 8 o'clock, and they press snooze. It goes off at 8:15. They press snooze. It goes off at 8:30. Press snooze. It goes off at 8:45. They press snooze, and they get to church at 9:30. Were they late?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And their goal was to get to church on time.
Mm-hmm.
So someone, same person, another Sunday, press snooze, and they didn't have a goal. And they pressed snooze, they pressed snooze. They got to church at 9:30. Were they late?
Well, they missed the beginning, but if they didn't have a goal, then they just got there when they got there.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So when winning and winning and losing only applies in the game where the goal is you have a particular goal.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that is important to distinguish with winning, with losing and winning. Usually, we ask people, "What does it feel like to lose?" We ask, "What does it feel like to win?" And this is before we have distinguished that the player opponent is the same person, is you. People already are in touch with how it feels to lose and how it feels to win.
We do it differently.
When we come to the winning and winning, and it was distinguished in terms of you are both the opponent and the player, then we bring in winning and losing. So it's already clear what it feels like to lose. Now, though, what we've added is that you can win at losing by the opponent of you running the show, and you can feel good. That is, you can feel like you won, and you can win at winning. So the second level to this, and the way that we've done it, is that it's the winning part, the winning at, that shows up secondarily once that's distinguished. Because people can get losing, how it feels to lose and how it feels to win. What's new is that they're winning at losing and winning at winning.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Can I share?
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I'm getting is, in tying into what Patty said, is that if I had a goal to be at church on time, that when I hit the snooze button, I might get comfort, relief. And there may be a feeling of feeling good because I'm like, oh, I can go back to sleep, or I can do that.
That's eating the chocolate cake.
That's eating the chocolate cake. That are going, I feel good because I feel like I'm winning, but really I'm winning at losing. That's what there is to distinguish. That I might have a feeling of winning, but I have to look to say, well, am I winning at winning or winning at losing?
Yeah.
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 For me, it's an hour later, how do I feel? Like when I beat up someone because they're in my face, I felt good, that adrenaline got out of me, but an hour later, how do I feel? Because the kids would say, I felt good when I punched in the face. But then there's this moment, given your commitment, was that winning at winning or winning at losing? Mm-hmm.
So it's how do you feel combined with what direction are you, whose hoop are you shooting in, right?
Yeah, but and the feeling has to do with the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What direction are you moving?
That's right.
Right.
Home, and that's when I come back, are you moving towards yourself or away from yourself? So what didn't we transfer over yet inside of the roles?
Observer.
No, we didn't put observer in the roles.
Okay.
Let me just recall what we did. We did coach, and that was the staff. We did trainer, which is the course leaders.
It's a referee.
That's right. So tell me what you know about the referee so far.
The referee is the one that refers people back to, is watching to make sure people are following, quote unquote, the rules. And in the way that in our game, it's conditions of winning.
Okay. And the referee, yeah, the rules that we are looking at are the conditions of winning, and the ref will tell us, you know, you keep in your conditions. Now, and remember, Ade had a conversation last time when he was asking, does the ref care if you win or lose?
No, the ref does not care.
There's a crooked ref and da. But on the most part, so you remember that conversation? Mm-hmm. Okay. And what we got to, the ref doesn't care which teams win. So so there's just you as the player and the opponent. Now, how you word this question is important, because the question is, what is the ref in life? And people normally hear, and if you ask it wrong, you can't get there. They normally say, who is the ref? The ref is not a who, it's the what. So every time the kids will give you a who, you say a person or something, you go, well, that's a who. I'm asking for a what. And so that is, I've seen course leaders take too long in this part because the question is wrong. Is in the game of life, what is the ref? Now, remember, the ref doesn't care if you win or lose. And then it's, what doesn't care if you win or lose? And then they'll say, my mother, my father, my teachers, my friends, and you get that all off the board. So Vicky, what is the metaphor ref in this, what we're talking about? What doesn't care if you win or lose?
My first instinct is to say your personal, what is important to you.
Okay, that's good. That's a good start. Keep thinking. That's definitely really good. Now, what
you've seen for yourself based on the experiences up to that point.
That's great. Now, let me let you know something. This is an early conversation, and this is a thinking conversation. And so how you are with the participants, it's setting them up for engaging in the rest of the course, particularly the don't know conversation. So because I know some course leaders know the answer, they'll say, no, not that, no, not that, no. And then the kids got to go in, move from thinking about it to a guessing game. Mm-hmm. And then you don't say no. You go, that's close. Or try again, I'll come back to you. I want you to think about that some more. So who else? Patty, what does it care what you do with it?
I would say circumstances or outcomes.
That's really, really, really good too. That's really good. It's like if your sickness doesn't care, but there's something even bigger than the circumstances. What gives you the circumstances? What doesn't care what you do with it? In the game of life, what doesn't care what you do with it? And how I said that sentence is how then you begin to say that sentence over and over and over and over. In the game of life, what doesn't care what you do with it? Dickie, in the game of life, what doesn't care what you do with it?
Life or the game?
Which one?
Life.
Okay, let's see. Bonnie, you back? Is that Bonnie?
Yeah.
As soon as I turned off my computer, work called me. So I'm working.
Okay.
But it's, I think
Something has to fill in the space.
What?
So then why are you back? Why don't you just go to work? Well, anyway, I'm going to keep moving.
Well, I have to be on my computer.
Okay. So.
Say it again. In the game of life, what doesn't care?
What you do with it?
My first instinct with that is, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but time. Time doesn't care.
Yeah, time does. That's absolutely right. Time doesn't care if you use it to your advantage or you use it and throw it away.
Time doesn't care whether you waste it or that you have some purpose with it.
That's perfect.
Right.
I'll put that, and if that happened to me, I'm gonna say I'm gonna put that on the list. I didn't think about that before. Okay, you guys are pretty smart here. Now they're all puffed up with the chest out. So, Dickie, when you said the game of life, what do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that it's similar to time, that life's going to keep moving. And in the example of the game's going to keep going. Whether I show up and play it or whether I don't show up and play it or how I play it, the time's ticking, the game's still going. And whether in my life, whether I play as the player or play as the opponent, the game doesn't care. It's just a space for life is just going, look, it's your call, do whatever you want to do, but we're going to keep moving. Everything's going to keep evolving and going on.
And that's exactly right. You are given life the moment you take your first breath. And life doesn't care what you do with it. And the reason life doesn't care what you do with it is because only human beings can care. And life isn't human. Just like time isn't human. Love isn't human. So in the game of life, life doesn't care what you do with it. Now, in the game of life, who's the human that could care? In the game of your life, Patty, who's the human in your life?
I am.
Right. So the only person that can care what you do with your life is you. Like your parents try to care what you do with your life. But that doesn't make any difference. Or your teachers, or your clergy, or your friends, or your sisters, or your brothers, your cousins, they can't give you life. They can't help you do anything with your life. They can't score on your court. In your life, who's the only person that needs to care what you do with it?
Me.
Yeah. Remember, this is the first morning. This is the enrollment sinking conversation. This is this distinction, responsibility happening in the beginning of the day. This is the oh shit moment. This is the growing up moment, the maturing moment, the being responsible moment. I thought it was my teacher's fault. I thought it was your teachers can't fail you. They just give you the mark that what you did with the time you were in their class. Mm-hmm. You can't get fired. You can be abused, but you can't get fired if you're doing an excellent job. If you get fired, it's because they heard you didn't want the job. And how did they hear that? What you did with the job. You came late. You didn't do the reports. You da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So, oh, I got it. So you wasn't fired. They agreed with you. It's in this conversation, you take out all of the victimhood. Mm-hmm. Now, there are three things we can say when they don't get these questions, when they don't get to life. You guys are really smart, you get to life. So we say, that's why it's important that you say, in the game of life, what doesn't care? What is the ref? Yeah. And so the reason that's important, because you give them these three clues. What color is George Washington's white horse? And the answer is?
White.
There was this guy named Grant, and he died. And now we ask, who is buried in Grant's tomb?
Grant.
Okay. And then this is the one that really messes them up. What is the aluminum can made out of? Usually say tin. Somebody in the room is going to say tin. And then they get so you say, can you see the questions that I'm asking has the answer in it? What color is George Washington white horse? It's white. What color? Who's buried in Grant's tomb? Grant. What's aluminum can made of? Aluminum. In the game of life, what doesn't care what you do with it?
Life.
Life. So when it's going a little too long, you give them the hints. And they will get, the answer's in the question. What's the answer? Life. Okay, I'm done. I can't go anymore. I'm very hungry. I have to eat. Way past I eat at 3 o'clock. It's 3:35. I can't go anymore.
Be back in 45 minutes.
Same.
No, hour 15. I can't eat in 45 minutes. I gotta go get my food. have to go out and eat. Can't cook and teach and eat it. No way, Jose. Also an hour and 15 minutes, yes?
What's that?
Yeah, we're gonna do an hour and 15. What time is it?
It's 12:35 right now, so an hour and 15 from now would be 1:50 our
And what
time.
time would that be for me?
4:50.
4:50.
4:50.
4:50.
So what are you guys gonna accomplish over lunch?
Book my hotel room.
Okay,
I'm looking for flights to New York.
okay. Dickie, why don't you try calling your coach?
I did that on the last one. I scheduled a time with Kevin, and we're scheduled for a call tomorrow. And I texted you to say when are you available. Are you available for a coaching call?
I will be available during lunch. That's for sure.
Okay, exactly. So yeah, I've reached out in that.
No, I'm not your coach this month. Your time has passed.
Oh, I missed the opportunity. Okay.
Opportunity.
Okay.
Yep, you missed the opportunity.
Okay.
I'm going to go eat now. Do I get 5 more minutes? Did 5 minutes pass?
Do you want to come back at 5 o'clock your time?
That's a long time, right?
That's an hour and 23 minutes.
5 minutes. Well, now we've spent another. It's an hour and 20 minutes. It's 5 more minutes.
At 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
5 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Okay.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.